Everybody, welcome to Stack Your Points. Thanks for watching and listening. And this is the Friday Q&A segment. So your questions, we answer them, sometimes up to an hour, sometimes it creates its own episode in and of itself. So if you have questions, always feel free to drop them on the YouTube channel or email us at stackyourpoints@gmail.com. But we hope you enjoy this week's Q&A session. Thanks for watching and listening. Welcome to another episode of Stack Your Points. As always, I'm Matt from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel, joined this week by RJ from Do You Take Cards? RJ, how are you today?
I'm well. I put together a new mesh network over the holiday weekend. So I now actually have a router in my office that my laptop is directly connected to through the hub. So I am blazing fast speed. Well, 600 down, but 600. But for me, that is blazing fast speed in the country.
600 down is nothing to sneeze at. Awesome to hear. We're joined as always by Lonnie from the Call Me Lonnie YouTube channel. Lonnie, how are you today? And no, I'm not going to reference today's members only video.
Feeling good, looking great. I would like to send an early happy birthday to RJ. And so, everyone, happy early birthday, RJ.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Happy early birthday, RJ. And finally joined by Tariq from the Rick's Rewards YouTube channel, which should be starting next week, as that is mid-December, as we learned in last week's rant. That's when we should expect something. Tariq, how are you?
I'm good, but honestly, pretty tired. Holiday weekend was good, had 4 days off, but as an accountant, came back to work on the first business day of the month, so I had to go do end of month stuff. So working lunch, tired, and then also this is going to be a busy week because not only is it RJ's birthday coming up, it's my lovely player two's birthday. So I got plans for that as well. So bear with me this week and today. God only knows how I'm going to be like towards the end of recording.
And everybody stay tuned because we're going to raffle off Tariq doing your taxes for January.
I am not a certified public accountant. I have no fiduciary responsibility for any of y'all's tax returns. Do with that as you wish. I am not going to I'm going to go ghost if the IRS calls you for an audit because I have nothing to do with it.
I didn't say it was for you. You could give it to somebody you don't like and have them do it.
Sure, we could maybe make that a Patreon level or something at some point. Yeah, so there we go. Thanks for watching. We're going to move over to our questions of the week, and we do have a number of them this week. So thanks to everyone who asks these questions. You can use the Stack Your Points Discord. There's a podcast questions portion. You can also ask us via email, stackyourpoints@gmail.com, and utilize the comment sections on YouTube pages, on our YouTube videos. Viewer questions can come in on the questions video. You can use the main show video. Any videos, we'll collect them and answer them for you. So our first question comes from Anthony B, who asks, with sweet spots disappearing and devaluations happening regularly for travel partners, are we all headed towards cashback and travel portals with a boost like with Chase and the US Bank Altitude Reserve card? Lonnie, your thoughts as someone who will utilize the travel portals primarily. Your thoughts here.
Yeah, I was going to say, when have I ever stopped using the travel portals? I mean, technically, United's website is also just now one giant travel portal. But anyway, going to the devaluations happening. So devaluations are always happening. They never stop. As long as inflation is happening, devaluations are not. Now, they are not one and the same. Inflation would be a flight that cost $500 yesterday, maybe cost $550 tomorrow. There is, of course, you call that a price hike, supply and demand if you want to. But devaluation is the amount that the actual financial amount your points are worth or a award flight is worth changing. Now, the overall question, are we headed towards cashback and travel portals with a boost like Chase or the US Bank Altitude Reserve? I'll say it like this. And that is, people are not necessarily changing, the business is not changing, your interests are not changing. It's where you find value that is changing. And what I mean by that is, if I remember when I could buy an award flight for 30,000 miles, and now a cheap award flight, like a standard one or a good one, might be like 45 or 50. Actually, that was a really bad example because I think United is averages themselves at 30. But anyway, neither here nor there. But one of the things when you think of these travel portals, and I'm just going to use Chase because I have this Sapphire Reserve, and I love my 1.5 boost on everything, or my 1.5% on all my points, is doing the math. So if I wanted to fly United or American, I know we just finished talking about them, any other airline, honestly, and it says I can book a flight for 80,000 miles, but then I go to the Chase travel portal and it says, well, you can book this same one for 60. So spend 80,000 miles or spend 60,000 points. I mean, the better deal, obviously, is using the 60. So it's where I find that value. And the best way to think about that, and I'm just using that as flights, is because I've talked about my plan A strategy multiple times. I'm not going to get into it. Go watch a former video. Watch all the former videos, actually. We should have a playlist of all the videos if we don't. Anyway, is not American, American Express, Fine Hotels and Resorts. Now also Chase the Edit, where there's crazy amounts of value for hotels through those travel portals. And the only way that you can book them is through those travel portals. So if I wanted to stay, which I recently have, Waldorf Astorias, I just left a JW Marriott, and I'm an IHG guy. I've talked about that a million times. And I'm staying at other places. Why? Because I found more value using Chase the Edit. I can get a 5-star luxury hotel, $100 experience credit, breakfast for 2, all included every morning. And I'm still getting a 1.5 boost, saving all those different points. But it's not an intercontinental. Yes, there are intercontinentals in FHR and the Edit, but once again, besides the point. Or staying at a Waldorf, which I recently used my Amex points for. So it's about the value and what you're looking for. So I'm not necessarily going to say that devaluations are happening. Yes, they are. They kind of always are happening, whichever. But are we as a community, are we all migrating to cashback and travel portals? No. People are just learning more, becoming more educated, doing the research and finding, wait a sec, I can get way more value for my spend, for my points, for the experience that I'm looking for in travel portals. And I think that's what's happening, is people are just being more aware and more educated.
No, that definitely all makes sense. Tariq, your thoughts here?
So, short answer, no. I don't think that we're heading back to where it's going to be primarily travel portals and cashback over transfer partners. I think there's still, as even though like Lonnie said, devaluations happen every year. It's a given. It's one of the certainties in life: death, taxes, devaluations. I think that there's still enough outsized value for people that are searching for different award flights, or different award stays for their travel. I mean, just going back on American Airlines, back to basics, I think people value American Airlines miles at like what, 1.4 to 1.7 cents per point, and that's just for like economy flights. Here's somebody like Chad from Chad's Money Minutes, he can find some transatlantic business or first class flight for like 25 cents per point if he really was trying hard enough. So I think there's still people chasing like those huge values, or finding those huge values and squeezing out as much value as they can from their 1 point. And I think with that, that's still going to be prevalent. Now, I think there's still people that are new to the game, getting started in the travel game, or they just value simplicity and they have a Sapphire reserve or they have an Altitude reserve and they just want to go to the portal, get the 1.5 cents per point, clean, cut, dry, simple. Especially with something like the Chase travel portal with like flights, you can still earn miles from like United, whatever airline, hotel, well, not hotel, but definitely whatever airline. So it makes it a little bit simpler. So for people that crave simplicity, yeah, sure, they're going to probably do that over the transfer partners where they're not having to go through like different award websites, paying for third-party sites, trying to find it versus the people who were looking for outsized value. So as long as there's still that outsized value that is 2, 3, upwards of like 10 plus X more than cash back and transfer part or travel portals, that's still going to be there because cash is a fixed value. You're going to get at most 5% cash back on like your standard run of the mill card. But 5x Chase points or 5x Amex points can be significantly higher. So, yeah.
Also, just to add to what Tariq said, if you use Chase's travel portal, you can actually still get your hotel points when you stay at said hotel. I have done it 6 times in the last 2 months, 2 to 3 months. You still get your hotel points too. Chase travel portal, please don't nerf that benefit.
The problem is I'm going to want to test that now.
I just did JW Marriott, got all my points, booked Chase the edit, do the Chase travel portal.
Oh, was that exclusively through the edit though?
That was through the edit, but I got Marriott points for staying, even though that had nothing to do with Chase. Chase just did the booking.
Yep. That is a new feature on the edit. If you include your loyalty account with at booking, it's now going to show you like Marriott eligible, IHG eligible, Hyatt eligible. The other one is Accor, definitely, and I think there's at least one more that they definitely have. But you can include your loyalty numbers in a ton of hotel programs. And if they're in the edit now, there are select properties that are going to add EQ, elite qualifying nights. Sorry to trample in there. RJ,
Nope,
your thoughts
you're right.
here?
But Marriott, IHG, I can attest to. Guaranteed. It worked for me.
So I think it depends very much on what you do with your points, right? Like, I go to a lot of sporting events. I go to a lot of just random, one-off nights through the year. So for me, like, I get a ton of value out of like Hilton points and stuff. That's not going to change even if they get devaluated a little bit, right? Like, that's not really going to change for me until something catastrophic happens, which is going to change a lot more than just, some Hilton points, right? So, yeah, if you want to go to tropical places and stay in 5-star hotels and do all of that, this could change a lot for you. You might, go to the travel portals. You might do the thing where you get cash back and then put it in some account where you're, trading stocks or whatever to try to grow your money. You might do that. That's perfectly fine. But there are people who don't do that. There are people who just get some points, use some points, pay some cash sometimes, don't pay cash other times, and go on. And I think that we all get in the habit of people use their points like we use our points, or people take the vacations that we take, instead of thinking like, oh, if you're somebody who road trips a lot, like Choice's points aren't really going to fluctuate that badly. Or, mid-range Hiltons or mid-range Marriotts or whatever is not going to really fluctuate all that much. So if you're taking those kind of trips, then this really isn't a problem. If you're taking the JWs and you're staying at, Conrad's and you're staying at all of the sort of the bigger hotels, this could be a much more prevalent problem and is something you're going to feel more. So really, this question is, if you're staying at 4 and 5 star hotels, is this maybe a better strategy for you? And as Lonnie pointed out, it might be. If you have the reserve, if you have, the U.S. altitude reserve as well, like those might be a better option for you because you can do different things. If you're staying at Hampton Inns and DoubleTrees and things like that, it doesn't probably matter. If you're staying at, your Days Inn or whatever's on the side of the road that isn't a loyalty program that you have points for, it really doesn't matter at that point, right? So I think it really is always going to depend on what you want out of travel, because everybody on this podcast and everybody who listens to this podcast travels exceptionally difficult. Tariq and I both travel for sports. We travel very differently for sports, just by the nature of I usually am doing more pro stuff, he's doing more college stuff, the nature of what we would each find acceptable for certain levels of travel, different things like that. We travel very differently. And that's just two people who have spent a lot of time talking about travel with each other, right? Imagine how differently, Anthony travels than I do, or, Lonnie and I travel very differently. And that is what you have to realize is how the community, we like to think about the community as being like the couple of people on YouTube and the people we talk to regularly about this, or the people in our social circles in our personal life. That is not how the vast majority of the country lives. It's not how vast majority of country live compared to how I live, or Tariq, or Lonnie, or Matt. So we can see trends in the community, the quote community, but it really is super going to depend on sort of national trends and then breaking it down based on income and location and type of travel. So do I think are we all heading for that? No, I absolutely don't think we are. Is a certain subsection? Probably. But the certain subsection has triple my net worth in spend every year. So they're going to be doing things that I'm not going to do because it's not feasible for me to do.
Oh, that definitely makes sense. For me, I don't think we're heading towards cashback or travel portals as a primary. I do think that travel portals and cashback is becoming more of a viable option for some folks. And by that I mean you've got things like Chase introducing elite qualifying nights on the edit. If I can book a really nice hotel with points and not have to go through direct booking with a program that I don't have any points with, but I can use my Chase points in that program, still get benefits akin to having status, and my stay is going to generate points in that program and an elite qualifying night in that program. That makes Chase's travel portal more valuable to me. And over time, there are going to be folks who are going to like that particular setup, and then you have Lonnie's Plan A strategy, which utilizes the Chase travel portal a lot, where he'll book United flights through the portal, and it's a cash equivalent to United, so he's going to get those United miles on top of the Chase miles and create that circle of point generation for himself. And you've got other folks who are just going to do give me the points, I will do the point research, I will use 6 different point aggregating programs. I'm going to go on points.yeah, I'm going to go on seats.arrow, I'm going to go points.me. I'm going to make sure that I have the highest value of return, highest value on this trip I'm planning. And if I've got to go through British Airways Avios, well, I can't book it through British Airways Avios because of British Airways surcharges. But if I move my Avios from British Airways over to Qatar, those surcharges are going to be like $300 cheaper. So I'm going to do that. You're still going to have folks who are going to approach things that way. So I think that cashback and just buying points in the program that you want to use is going to become more of a strategy. I think that travel portals are becoming more of an option than they've previously been, and that will help somewhat with some of the devaluations. So, like, if a program goes completely crazy and say Alaska, the day that they're allowed to start making crazy changes to the value proposition that they have on their flights or partner flights, but you're able to book the same flights through the Chase travel portal, you're going to see folks migrate over to the travel portal. It's just going to be the market demand. Um, so I think as travel portals start gaining the ability to offer you elite qualifying nights, especially on the higher end cards like the American Express Platinum, you can get, you not only get Hilton status and Marriott status, but you can get elite qualifying nights by booking through their portal with those particular chains. If Chase is doing the same thing through the edit and maybe extending that to to the overall Chase travel portal with the Sapphire Reserve, that's now creating another marketing avenue for those higher end cards where they can say, use our portal if you want. You're not only going to get, this guaranteed redemption, but you're going to continue to gain elite qualifying nights with the hotel program of your choice. You're not stuck with Hyatt, you're not stuck with Marriott, you're not stuck with Hilton, you're not stuck in um any particular program. Now you have more freedom to shoot to go wherever you want, and that will become a value add in and of itself and another way to market the cards. So I don't think we're headed towards cashback and travel portals, but I think that cashback and travel portals are becoming more of an option than they previously were. Like, it used to just be, oh, you got 3% back on this, and what are you going to do with that, right? Now you got to transfer out your points, you got to get the highest possible redemption you can. Now there's other ways to get seriously strong value for what you're planning to do, and it's giving you another option. So thank you for that, Anthony. We're going to move to a pair of questions from a friend of the pod, Keith S. Keith's first question is, what is your top destination on your bucket list and how would you get there? And he does highlight that if we say the Maldives, he is unsubscribing. So besides the Maldives, RJ, your top bucket list destination and how would you get there?
Ireland, not by boat. So probably British Airways by New York City will be the most likely. I have to go to London in a couple of years, 2026 for a cruise. So I'm heavily invested in looking at British Airways right now um, because I will not be in coach for that flight. I can tell you that right now. So I've done a little bit of research into this. So probably British Airways out of the city. It's not a particularly, I'm on the East Coast. It's not a particularly hard place to get to from where I am. It's not a particularly challenging place to get to from where I am. Worst case scenario, I fly into London and take a train, and then a small little boat. So maybe I will take a boat into into Ireland. But for where I want to go, I mostly Ireland and Scotland, maybe a little bit of the Netherlands and things like that. So I am a very pale person, and if I go to the Maldives, I'm going to turn into a lobster and they will eat me. So I shall not go anywhere where there is that much sun.
I'm planning a 2026 trip to Ireland. My first thoughts right now are JetBlue Mint or going lay flat business through Aer Lingus with their Avios.
That is also an option.
And you can fly direct to Shannon or Dublin. You don't have to worry about London and the ridiculous surcharges and going to the UK. Anyway, sorry. Don't mean to rain on your parade there. No, that's an awesome destination. Tariq, your bucket list destination, and how are you getting there?
So the one that comes to mind for me is Turks and Caicos. I've seen just videos, pictures, beautiful, gorgeous. It was actually a trip that my parents were supposed to take a few years ago, but they showed up to the airport a little late, but also American Airlines, where I have beef with American for that reason. It was an international flight. They only had like one international, like one employee, like the international check-ins, and it was like a stupid long line. So they ended up missing their flight. The way I do it, probably with I'd go check United packages. Like I looked at like award flights, points, point flights with it with United Miles seems like really high, and booking for two that's like well over. I think I've seen some for like 80,000 United Miles. So 320,000 miles I don't have, and that'd be a lot of earning. So I would just say screw it, save, just save some money, have a travel fund, and then look for the packages and see what I can get, and more than likely see if there's like those bonuses that when you book on a certain day. Lonnie knows he's the king of that. So I would just go through. There's like two. It's weird. There's like United packages and there's like United vacations, and I would have to know which one is the right one. I think one is like just partnered through like Priceline, and I don't necessarily want to deal with that. I just would rather look at like at least the flight directly through United, if that makes sense. But all in all, beautiful type of relaxation, and it's not the Maldives, so Keith can still stay subscribed.
Lonnie, your bucket list location if you haven't already been.
So I had like three different answers for this. One of them I recently just booked for 2025, so I want to kick that one off. But the one that is my unicorn, and I've had three instances where it's gotten away from me. Most recently, one of my best friends from work just went for her birthday, and wouldn't look good if I had went as a married man with the family. I was very jealous that that's where she decided she wanted to go for her birthday, so I wish her the best. But anyway, that's Machu Picchu. I want to do the hike up to Machu Picchu. Um, I will say what the last time it got away from me, I was my best friend from grad school. You've heard me bring him up before. We have a trip with our families coming up in 2025 as well. Uh, he had gotten out of a relationship and he needed his boys, and I was in the process of closing on a house, and I said, "Sorry, bro, I can't this week. I can't do it." And so it just keeps getting away from me, but it will be done. And that's what I really, really, really want to do. I want to make that hike. I want to go see the Lost Ruins, Machu Picchu. I don't know why, but I will make it there. Oh, and also COVID. That killed that trip too. So there's my three times that had gotten away from me.
Yeah, that one will definitely have been a trip ruiner for sure. So for me, the one place in Southeast Asia I definitely want to visit, which is uh, which is Vietnam. I know Vietnam Airways is SkyTeam partner, so I'd have to figure out some fancy pants ways to make that flight. I'd probably try my best to use Air France and Flying Blue, but Vietnam would be cool. Going to what is it? It's now Ho Chi Minh City, but Saigon would be interesting. It's going to be hot and humid as all get out, but Vietnam to me has always been a place I've wanted to visit, and if I could make it happen, I will. Though I don't know if I'm going to do that as a solo trip. I probably should have done that as a solo trip at some point. Now with booking for three, or if we want to make that a flight, that would be an adventure. But Vietnam's always been a place that has interested me. So that's kind of like the one that feels far off. I'd also like to explore more of continental Europe. Literally, the only place on continental Europe that I've been is Switzerland, and I was there for a weekend. So, actually, collecting some countries on continental Europe would be cool. Um, France, Germany, the Balkans would be interesting. Long as they're not a powder keg, then we're good. Uh, because things can happen there pretty quickly, and it can turn south very fast. But no, I would start with Vietnam as that one that top bucket list, and then move from there. For Vietnam, I would have to utilize SkyTeam partners, but what is Air France if not the best way to do that? Yeah. So that is Keith's first question. Keith's second question is, would you get the no annual fee Bilt card in 2025? Please elaborate. This is just, would you get the Bilt card? There's currently no annual fee Bilt card yet. I think one will eventually be coming, but I'm not going to work off of that hypothetical. Would I still get the Bilt card in 2025? Yes, it's a very much hamstrung card than when it first launched, but I think there's still value to this card. Um, I would still get this card before I get the Chase Sapphire Preferred because it's the same earning structure and there's some interesting portions of the program that you can stack with the Bilt card to get more value out of it. So, I would still get it. I would do so knowing that it has been hampered a lot, but I'm interested to see what this house purchasing point plan looks like. And that house purchasing point plan is now, is now making me think that mortgages are coming sooner than later. We just have to see what those mortgages end up looking what that mortgage plan ends up looking like. But I would still recommend it. I still think it's a strong card. They haven't taken any of the benefits away from the card. They've just made rent day worse. And they are not communicating particularly well. And they're still not making status anything. There's still issues with Bilt, but I would still recommend the card. I still think it's worthwhile. We'll go around the horn real quick on this one. RJ, I know that Bilt is not necessarily your favorite company, but would you still recommend the card in 2025 if anyone
I would
were to want
not.
it?
I would not
Okay.
recommend the card in 25. I might recommend it in 26, depending on what they do in 25. But unless you're somebody who desperately needs the rent points, I would not. Because I think when a company shows you who they are, believe them. And this company has shown that they can't do communication, that
Yep.
they're taking the rent day experience and changing it. They're doing a lot of things. Now, if you are a renter who desperately needs this card for rent and wanna, funnel it to Hyatt or United or whatever, go for it. But if you don't need with a capital N this card, I would give it another year, see what they do, see if they clean up their act, see if their communication gets better, and then take a look for 26. I'm not saying it's a terrible card. I'm not saying that, the company is going to go to hell in a handbasket. I'm not saying any of that. But I think they've had some very questionable things. Communication is a big issue for me. Um, I've even hit Amex on them on bad communication. So it is a thing that I look for, and their communication has been so poor. I would punt it for a year if you could afford to, and then take a look in 26 after you see what they've done in 25.
No, that's completely fair. I'm not trying to whitewash or explain away their lack of communication and their horrific communication with the rent date changes. Um, I think the card as is still okay, but yeah, if you don't need the card, it really there are like 10 other cards you can get before you have to worry about getting the Bilt card because all of those cards with welcome offers, you can use rent for the welcome offer. You're going to eat the 3% fee, but guess what? You're still going to get points or miles or whatever your earning is for that fee. So you're still hitting the welcome offer, which puts you pretty far ahead. So I do agree that unless you absolutely need the rent points, it's you can still do okay with other cards.
And I also
Um,
think like we know what Amex is, we know what Chase is, we know people have varying opinions on Wells Fargo, but we know what those companies are and what they tend to do. We don't actually know what Bilt is going to do in the next 12 months as a company because they're a single card company who is quasi attached to Wells Fargo, sometimes more than others. Um, but we don't actually know what they're going to do in 12 months. They could be a radically different company in 12 months in terms of employment, in terms of what products they offer, in terms of mortgages or not mortgages or whatever. So that's why I would caution, like, if you can wait, wait, because this is not, American Express is not going to tomorrow turn around and be like, we've decided the platinum is just too excessive. We're going to cut the annual fee to $400. There is nothing in the history of American Express that says they're going to do that, right?
no, they're gonna.
Tomorrow, Bilt could come out and say everybody gets a free helicopter ride if you get approved for this card, but you only can go from this block to this block, and you could only do it on Tuesdays if it's raining. And we'd be like, yeah, that sounds like a Bilt thing. So like, we don't know what they are as a company. So let's give them a year. I'm not casting them away, but let's give them a year and then see how they look.
Yeah, helicopters in the rain are not always a great mix. Tariq, we'll go to you next, and then we'll wrap up with Lonnie on this question.
So when I'm thinking about the Bilt card and looking about like RJ's answer, I understand where she's coming from on that, especially the communication issues and just Bilt's seeming lack of identity or identity crisis it seems like they're having. I will say though, if it's still the Bilt card is a no annual fee card. So if you get the card and all of a sudden Bilt just does stupid, which they've okay, if Bilt does more stupid, you could just say, screw it, just gonna throw the card in the sock drawer, no biggie. Or you could just say, you just have it for rent and then just 4 other purchases and then just be that. You may not have to utilize the Bilt program to its full extent. You just want points for rent. So with that being said, I know this segment comes out on Friday, so I'll be able to actually, spoiler alert for those who haven't, who only listen to our podcast on the podcast of their choice. I apologize in advance. But since I've already discussed the topic at the time of this recording, or at least recording of this segment, I'm going to say what my thoughts of the Bilt process. I have strongly considered the Bilt card over the last 6-ish days because Chase pissed me off and hung me out to dry, denied me for the United Explorer card. And maybe it was because I didn't use Lonnie's referral link, but I'm sorry, Lonnie. United gave me a targeted offer of like 65,000 miles. Only reason why I didn't. Had it not been for that, I would have pulled your referral link. Maybe that's my fault. But
they gave you an offer, but they didn't give you the card.
yes. Oh dang! I almost got I'm so mad. A-holes, effing A-holes. And like I said, it's my fault because, I went application crazy. And I got the Hyatt business card when I probably had no business with getting the Hyatt business card because I have 103,000 Chase points with another 5,000 on the way. And the statement that's the beginning of the statement. So yeah, hard-headed on me. I saw an opportunity to just kind of slow down my applications and not open a card every 3 months or a card a month because I was using my rent and my girlfriend's rent, sans the fee because I didn't care. But aside from that, I did a lot of FA with Chase applying for cards. And when I applied for the United Explorer, I got the FO and I got it hard. And it made me sad. So because of that, I'm like, well, I almost locked out of Chase for the foreseeable future. And I guess when I tried to do reconsideration, they went to they went to underwriting and they saw my business cards and they said, bro, you've had too many cards. I'm like, this is not my 24. I guess it doesn't matter when you do the whole process, but aside from that, I figured since I'm going to have rent spend, I have rent. My apartment is a Bilt property, so I can just do the 250 Bilt points with a checking account. But I have almost like 7,000 Bilt points. I use the Walgreens partnership. I use the Lyft. So I figured I'm somewhat into the Bilt program. I may as well get the card. And if it means that I can't, and if it helps with me not trying to sub hunt, and it saves me the 50 or it's only like $30 for mine, but still, I don't have to spend extra money just to earn points when I'm not chasing a sub. So it's a consideration that maybe even this month, either sometime before this month ends or maybe sometime beginning of January, I'll probably apply for the Bilt card. So, and yes, it's because Chase Disney and they didn't give me the Explorer, and I figured I can just sit on the Bilt card for a few months, use that. I have rent. I can move my insurance from the second to the first. And then all I need is like 3 other charges, and boom, I get my Bilt points. I can use it for Bilt dining. As a matter of fact, the dinner that I'm taking my girlfriend for her birthday, it is through the Bilt dining. It's the 2X, so I can still I can still use it. So I'm using Bilt. So I'll just, dabble with Bilt for a few months, and then I'll try my luck again with Chase in like April, because I just need the Explorer card before my first flight. I'm flying out on Juneteenth, so maybe May. So if I can go 5 months, maybe even 6, I might wait till June, 5 to 6 months. Maybe Chase will be nice to me and give me the Explorer. So,
Tariq, are you trying to convince us or yourself, sweetie?
I
Because
was about
I'm
to say
starting to
this.
get
I'm
worried.
convincing Chase. Damn it! I want the card. Okay, I don't
Chase
know what I'm
doesn't
doing.
care about your feelings,
Chase doesn't
sweetie.
care. Chase doesn't give a damn about
RJ,
me, and
you
I
read my
learned.
mind. You
All
read my
right.
mind. I'm over here cracking up. Like, he ain't even talking to us no more. He's not talking to the viewers. He is looking in a mirror.
You want me to
right
talk?
now.
You want me to post a video? I'm trying to figure this out. All right.
I think he just sold himself on the Bilt card.
Yes, I sold myself on the dang Bilt card.
And I love how he's like, I got rejected because I had too many inquiries. I know I'm going to go get another card.
Look,
this is a weird
exercise
in existentialism right here. This is.
I am going through a crisis.
Walk.
I am having a crisis. It was my first time being denied for a card in like 3 years. All right, I don't know how to feel. Issuer. Yes, it hurt. Yeah. It hurts. Okay.
So Tariq may or may not have the Bilt card by the next recording.
I haven't decided when.
Out for that one. So it sounds like Tariq would get the Bilt card in 2025 because he's going to be getting it before the end of 2024 to keep his sanity. So
I don't have a sub to work on. What the hell am I supposed to do? Dang.
Use cards like a normal person.
I rent. I don't feel like just using $250 and pulling from a checking account. All right.
All right, we're going to move over to Lonnie. Lonnie, your relationship with this card and company is, shall we say, strained at the moment, or it feels strained from our interactions, both here on the pod and off the pod. Would you get the Bilt card in 2025? Would you recommend the Bilt card in 2025? How you feeling?
Well, I did feel slightly attacked by RJ, and I'm going to touch on that in my answer here. But you're not wrong. Like, I have a very ambivalent relationship and feelings to the Bilt card. And I would say in 2025, yes, it's still a good card with 3 asterisks attached to it. And the first one is, elephant in the room, the rent. 100%. I say if you rent, period, instantly it's a good card. Instantly falls in the yes bucket if you rent. And the reason why I say that is because, yes, Matt, as you had mentioned, if I wanted to pay a credit card fee, a 3% fee or anything like that, it's still overpayment. I might be getting points, but I'm still overpaying. And if I decide not to use a credit card, just use my checking account, write a check, debit card, however. And then I'm paying rent and I'm not getting any points at all. And so if you rent, no matter what, instant 100% do not pass go, do not collect $200, go straight to yes on that one for me. The second, and I brought this up before, and this is why I feel attacked by RJ, is geographical location. Now, Matt, you know how I feel about being a Bilt Platinum member, status member, and I can't use a GD thing out of their platinum status because I live literally as far away in this country as you can get from Manhattan. Literally. You know, and the helicopter ride here. So I'm finally getting to you, RJ. You're absolutely right. And I had to go to New York. Luckily, I had a trip planned for New York. I had to go to New York to get that helicopter ride, but I landed in New York on Veterans Day, November 11th. And guess who wasn't operating on Veterans Day? Blade. I couldn't even use it the Monday that I got to New York. I had to wait until I left the city to even take it. So I had one shot. If the weather wasn't right, if something was late, mechanical error, all of that, I would have wasted the entire 2024. And that one aspect I could have actually used with my Bilt Platinum status. So if you rent, yes. If you're in a geographical location where you can actually earn and redeem some of the benefits of having a Bilt card, then yes. If not, sorry, I'm going to go ahead and say, once again, take rent out of it. But if you're not in that geographical location, if they didn't do the rent thing, it would be an instant no. So rent is the only thing keeping them left in the game, is what I'm trying to say. And then last but not least, as Matt had mentioned, and I'm going to mention it too, the commonality with the Sapphire Preferred. I mean, they are the same card with basically the same transfer partners that earns the same amount of points in the same type of bonus categories. And in the travel portal earns the same 25% boost. Yes. So if you're going to get this card as a travel card, once again, and you already rent, even if you don't want to use you can use the travel portal. You can transfer it out to partners, just 100%. Just take your Bilt points and just transfer them out to whatever partner you're going to transfer them out to. You don't got to do anything else. The answer is still yes. It is a good card, but it's so niche to a small subset of geographically inclined people or financial situations of I rent and don't own my home, or whatever way you want to do that, until they open it up to mortgages, other things that they're working on, et cetera, we can reevaluate the situation there. But as of right now, yes, it's a good card if you rent, if you live in like Manhattan, and you want to use it for the points for travel. If you can't check 2 out of 3 of those boxes, it's not a good card.
Yeah. No, I cannot disagree with anything my co-hosts have said on this. Yeah, I think the most prudent answer is RJ's. Wait, give Bilt 2025 to see what they do. The house purchase points is really interesting. We'll have to see how it executes in how it's done in practice, because we've just been sold the hypothetical. We don't know what the experiential will be. So
yeah,
if
actually
there,
two more things on that. Even if they did mortgages today, let's say you own a house, you pay your mortgage, and it works similar to rent. If they did half a point or whatever, like they're doing with closing fees, whatever. Mortgages work in whatever capacity. Let's just say 1-to-1 to rent, and you got rent. Without those other 2 things that I mentioned, the geographical location, and you're not into traveling, it still sucks. Yeah. You know, like, just because you added mortgages doesn't automatically make it good, because if I add my mortgage and I hit platinum status and I mean, it's a good smelling candle, but all I get is a candle and a blade rider, the only two things I can take advantage of. At least you can mail me the candle. It's still a bad card. Like, they have to do something. If they're going to put these statuses out there, they got to do something with those statuses, just like any other travel card. Like, my United card plus my United status gives me like extra 12, 14 points per dollar, not including what I'm actually paying. I can do that from anywhere. But when it comes to platinum status, like, come on, like, this works. You can do this fitness class for free. Well, if I just walk to the fitness class, it would be a workout, and I don't have to take the fitness class. It's a better workout than the fitness class itself because I don't live anywhere close to that type of stuff. Like, yeah, getting one free helicopter ride, and I would actually pay for that helicopter ride. Like, it was so fun and so cool. But one free helicopter ride is great, unless you're in California and the helicopter takes off in New York. Like, that doesn't necessarily work. And last but not least, I'm going to hang this up, is we can all complain about the communication. I've complained about it. It sucks. But we can complain about their changes. I've complained about it. I've been affected by Rent Day. I've been affected by Points Quest. I've been affected by all of that in my relationship as a card holder with Bilt. You got to remember, they don't owe us a thing. They are a business that owes us nothing. They can do whatever they want. They can turn their card red tomorrow, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, they owe us nothing. So complaining is one thing, but speaking up is another. So when you have these types of complaints, speak up. That business wouldn't be a business without us. So don't just let them change something and not say nothing and not do anything about it. Don't just put it in a sock drawer, because they can't hear it in a sock drawer, but they can hear, like, I don't like this card, I'm going to switch to a different one. That affects their P&L, that affects their shareholders. And they just signed on a lot of people to their board that they need to keep happy and on top of their shareholders. So don't just complain, speak up.
To that, they should keep Ken and Chanel happy. Other members who have been added in 2024, they can throw out the window. Anyway, we're going to wrap on that question. Our last question comes from Double Double Animal Fries, who says, RJ and Lonnie talk about how travel day is sacred. Wondering if you could get more into that, like where you find value in travel day benefits from your card, status, other memberships like Clear, etc. So, RJ and Lonnie primarily, how do you get value from the benefits of your cards or statuses or things that they can give you? RJ, how do you get value while travel day is sacred?
So everybody in my household has applied at least for TSA pre-check. I have it. The other people I travel with are in the process of getting it and will have it hopefully soon. That is one thing. So when I'm traveling by myself, I go through TSA pre-check. It is very nice. Don't have to take my belt off. My laptop stays in my bag. All of those simple things of just getting through airports faster is very nice. I have the Amex Platinum card, so Delta, Sky Clubs, and Centurion Lounges are covered for me. I fly out of a regional airport, as we have talked about. Regional airports mean I'm going to have a layover. I know I'm going to have a layover. I have not been on a flight in my entire life except for one flight to Boston from my regional airport that did not have a layover. So I know I'm having a layover. That means I have some ability to pick where my layover is and how long that layover is, which means I can enjoy the lounge. I can get something to eat. I can get a drink. I can sort of have that relaxation built in with how I'm doing it. I make sure that Lyft or Uber, whichever I'm using, I have that scheduled. I know the general route to the hotel. I'm picking hotels that are, accessible for where I'm going. I am not the person that stays 20 minutes away and just Ubers in every time I want to go to where I'm going. I stay at the best centrally located hotel I can. Another thing that sort of helps both travel days and just your trip in general. I am a planner, so I plan out a general itinerary of how my day is going to go. I pack usually about 2 weeks before the trip, as I have talked about in the Discord several times. I am that kind of planner. So my day is planned, how I'm getting there is planned, all of that is planned. So when I get in the car and go to the airport, I don't have to think anymore. That thinking has been done over the past couple of weeks to couple of months. So I get to the airport, get through TSA, go get a drink, find a seat, because we don't have a lounge yet, which one day, 2030 maybe. Um, who knows? Anyway, I get to my gate, I relax, and then I go to my layover, go to a lounge at that point, and enjoy my day by the time I get to the hotel. But everything else is very smooth. I have the TSA credits. I have enough TSA credits to cover everybody in my house. I have, the lounge access. I do have priority pass on a couple of cards. I've got the travel credits on a couple of cards. So it really is not anything spectacular, but it is all of those little things that I can do before the day I travel to make sure the day I travel, I have to think as little as humanly possible. And that to me is sort of how I handle my travel day.
Nope, totally fair. Lonnie, your travel day is sacred. Value adds from your cards.
Yeah, so I actually like this question a lot. And I look for two things in my travel day. That is comfort and stress free. Just kind of like what RJ had said. And the thing is, my travel day doesn't start on that travel day. It starts way before it. She had mentioned packing, and I'm just going to start there because, like, I have a certain sweat pants that I wear. Like, I have the exact same pair, but I have like three different pairs on. I have my travel hoodies. There's a small section in my closet for those travel hoodies because my bare skin will not touch an airplane seat. So I got to throw the hood up. I got to have the long sleeves on, and I want to be comfortable. So comfort and stress free. So it actually starts off with the clothing. And of course, I'm going to mention it, Mileage Plus X. I have a card that gives me a 25% boost by buying gift cards in an app. So it literally starts right there. Now, getting to the airport, Lyft, CSR, 10 points per dollar, Lyft Pink membership for free. I don't have to wait for a car. I literally almost always get some type of black suburban SUV. Yeah, I could literally say I want a Kia come pick me up, and a black suburban SUV pulls up to my door because of that Lyft Pink. And leaving airports, curbside check-in, also a major thing of Lyft Pink. A lot of airports, EWR needs to get on the train. It's like the only one I fly through often that really doesn't do curbside pickup. But that one needs to get on board. So I have that aspect of it. When I check in, because of my status with United, I'm in the Premier 1K, like that one line that's just there and nobody's ever in it. That's the line I get to walk through. That one person, their whole job is waiting for people like me to like finally show up. And I'm not just talking about with my family. I can show up by myself, and I go up and I get my paper boarding pass. Unless I'm traveling by myself, then I use my digital. But if you got kids, you'll understand why paper boarding passes are very important. By the time you get on the plane, there's lounge access, plenty of cards of lounge access, same way that RJ had mentioned. When I check a bag, my bags also get the orange tag, the VIP Premier tag, which means they come off on the belt first if I have to check a bag. All of this stuff keeps me calm. And it's like I travel so much. I actually have it like that. I can go to any airport and I have it down to a science. Like by the time I get off the airplane, I know, hey, we can run to the bathroom real quick. And by the time I get to baggage claim, it'll already be there. Global entry, TSA pre-check, clear, got all of those. We got plenty of cars that give you credits on there. United 1K gives me free clear, full clear for myself, which means I can use my Amex Platinum for my wife so that we can go through together. Kids are free, so I don't have to worry about my son. He also has his own global entry. That was before they allowed kids in for free. I thought there was a message in the Discord about that, Matt, recently, but someone had asked, like, how did my son get it? One, I got enough cards to do it. As RJ mentioned, I actually used a card for my mother-in-law so she can have TSA pre-check when we went to Hawaii a couple of months ago, because either you get pre-check or I'm not going in the regular line. You're going by yourself. You're a grown woman. You can do it. Of course, upgrades at minimum. I'll get free economy, premier economy on United flights due to my status. And because of that status, I might actually end up in Polaris business class or first class, depending what type of flight. Like food, discounts on food. They used to have priority pass restaurants on CSR. I know that's now gone or leaving or now gone, that is. But still, there's a discount when I buy food on the flight. Now, is it the best food? No. But is it cheaper food? Yes. And it's just like all these little things kind of add up where once you get used to them, you're just like, oh, I got this handled. I got this taken care of. Where especially the clear TSA aspect and the global entry, if you're coming back in the country, you wait in line for a global entry machine longer than it actually takes to use the machine and get, allowed back into the country. But if you've flown, I'm going to say Atlanta airport, OMG, and you don't have clear plus TSA, you are not happy when you get to the airport. You're instantly not happy. That airport is bananas / nuts when it comes to like people trying to get through security. But that one thin line that has no snake, that one, that's the one that I love. That because that's the one that I get into and I can just breeze right through without having to take my shoes off. Without having to take my tech out my bag. I got maybe 2 laptops, a tablet, and 2 phones in my backpack, like I always do. Maybe a Nintendo Switch, depending on the flight. Like these types of things make that day so much more stress free. And I'm going to actually go ahead and say, like, humbly, it feels really good when you get to like breeze through lines where you see other people like, oh, they had to wait 40 minutes. And they're like, I ain't had to wait 40 minutes. I'm just going to walk right on in. It's like getting into American Express Centurion Lounge. Like, yeah, it might be American Express, Platinum card, and all this other stuff. It might be a nice Centurion Lounge, but all y'all got to wait. I can just walk over here into the, Polaris Lounge or the United Club. And I don't have to wait. And sometimes the food is better. But it's those types of things that just make it so stress free and so much more comfortable, including even rental cars, because even multiple cards will give you status with rental cards. United also gives me status with rental cars. And I've mentioned I have my corporate discount through the company that I work for. Once again, I could book something like a Ford Fusion and I end up with an SUV. Like, oh, just go pick whatever car you want. Like, these are the types of things that, one, make you feel special, make you feel a little bit more elite. But the fact that they're there to the point where even my wife now, and I know she can hear me, she's right here outside of this door at the moment, where it's like, we didn't get upgraded. Like, who do we need to talk to? Like, we get to the hotel, like, we didn't get an upgrade. This is the best they had. That's not even a view upgrade. Like, who do we need to go talk to? Uh, we just went to Southern California, and literally, like, the car that we ended up renting was like, oh, I don't like this one. Let's go back and talk to them. We need a better one. Those types of things make your travel day so much better. Like I said, humbly, they make you feel more elite. Make you feel more elite. I'm going to repeat that. Make you feel more elite. But it all adds up. It all adds up. And that's why it's so crucial. And I will put as much effort as I can to those travel days, especially if I have a layover, like on an international flight, because then it really, really matters when you're stuck somewhere like Taiwan for 3 hours, or heaven forbid, Denver, if you're flying domestically for 3 hours. Great airport, creepy, great, but it's boring. So that's why travel days are so sacred and why they're so important. I will put so much more into my travel day than the actual like estimated time I'm staying at whatever destination I'm going to.
What I will say is it is amazing once you have something like TSA PreCheck, how you forget how to act normally. So a couple years ago, my family went to Texas, and my grandmother uses a wheelchair in airports because she can walk, but not for as long as you need to walk in an airport. So we all went through with her because they said, you know, the four of you are together, you know, you can push her in her wheelchair and go. Well, it wasn't TSA pre-check, and I am so used to TSA pre-check, I didn't take anything out of my bag. Like I've got like my tablet, my laptop, like I didn't remember to take my belt off, my shoes, like so I finally get through the other side of TSA, and my poor stepfather is in the back, like they won't let your bag, and I'm like telling him where to like things are for him to like take out because they wouldn't let me walk back through because I had already been checked. So like once you have that like TSA pre-check life, it is nigh impossible to go back and to like have to remember to take things out of your bag. Shout out to my stepfather. He was very understanding. He's like, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "I forgot you had to take things out of your bag when you go through normal security because I am so used to pre-check." And he just started laughing. So, but yeah, you will very quickly forget what it is like to go through a full security check once you have pre-check. It is
I,
amazing how quickly that happens.
I would actually, and Tariq, I promise we're going to let you talk, but this is RJ and I's moment at the moment. Um, I almost feel bad for my son because when he realizes what, once again, I'm going to use the wrong terminology, what normal people have to do at the airport, like he's probably going to lose it. Like he's never had to take his shoes off. He's never had to take anything out of his bag. He's never had to sit in the back of a plane. He's never had to sit regular economy before. You know, like by the time reality hits him, if he didn't have all these perks that I provide for him, and even if he was old enough and needed to, I got plenty of cars that I could continue giving him credits and he has higher status with United than Tariq does at the moment. Let's just call it what it is. He's only 2, but he does. It's real. I'm sorry, Tariq, but it's it's the truth as well. Like if he did not have this, I would actually want to see what he would do. Like having to travel as someone without status, without perks, or without credit cards. Like I have completely ruined that for him. And so thank you, RJ, for your stepfather's story because all I am afraid of is like this dude's gonna act a fool one day. He's gonna be like 19 years old and act an absolute fool because he's like, what do you mean I gotta take my shoes off? I'm never gonna take my shoes off.
All I'm gonna say is that people like RJ are the reason why TSA agents still bark at people in lines for hours on end. Like, yes, I know I got to take my shoes off. Yes, I know I got to take my laptop out of my bag. And in my head, I'm like, who's the idiot that has consistently not forgot how to do regular TSA lines? And these agents are yelling at people. It's like 5:30 in the morning. I know I could take my shoes off, but you know what? Thanks, RJ.
Once. I have gone through one non-TSA pre-check line in like the last 6 years. Once. So I am not that person normally. I am in the nice
Also,
line.
They're angry because they work at the TSA.
Well, that too. But it's part of the reason why is because they have to keep reminding people. And I'm using remindingly quite loosely because they have to just literally just like shove their face into the bin and be like, take this out of your backpack. But with that being said, I'm going to be applying for global entry here soon now that football season's over and I got to start recording my first episode. So
with your United card?
Shut up, Lonnie. I'm about to walk off.
Bilt doesn't give you global entry.
All right.
I want to use choice words, but I also know that I don't want to make the YouTube algorithm guys upset.
But we'll keep the conversation going on the Stack Your Points Discord or in the comments of the YouTube videos. So please leave your comments there. You can also utilize our email address, stackyourpoints@gmail.com. That'll do it for questions this week. Thank you so much for everybody who asks, and yeah, we'll get to more as the year goes on. So yeah, that's going to do it for our topics, and that'll do it for this week's show. If you like what we do, hit the like and subscribe down below. Let us know in the comments any additional questions, feel free to chime in with your own answers there. You can also use the podcast question answer. There's a section of the Discord for you to follow up on previous questions. Join our Discord. The link is always going to be in the description. And catch us on the podcatcher of your choice on Saturdays. Guys, is there anything else I'm missing? RJ, if we wanted to find you on the internet, where is the best place to find you?
Just go to the Stack Your Points Discord. Good Lord, I can't talk anymore. I'm there. More videos to come after the new year when my life goes back to normal.
Completely fair. Lonnie, best place to find you on the internet?
You can find me right here or right here on YouTube at Call Me Lonnie. All one word, and Lonnie is spelled Lani. I don't have any more jokes tonight. I think I've given Tariq enough. So
Completely fair. Tariq, where is the best place to find you?
At my crib, as soon as I hit the bed, because I'm tired as hell. And I got to be up in like 5 hours. But aside from that, Reeks Rewards video within the next week or two. And then I got a busy December. Like girlfriend's birthday, mama's birthday, traveling for Christmas. Why the hell did I decide December was the day to post the month to post the video? But you know what? I'm gonna get the people what they want. They waited too long. Also, find me in the Stack Your Points Discord because I'm there.
There you go. And you can also find me in the Stack Your Points Discord, other Discords as well, talking about credit cards. And my channel is the Matt Clausen YouTube channel. I have been low on tidbits just because it is end of the year and there is virtually no news right now. There are no cards coming out for the rest of the year. It is a quick pivot to some opinion pieces. I'm trying to put them together and also balance life in the holidays. So yeah, but almost at 1,500 subscribers. So help me get over that hump. Lonnie recently passed 3,000. Perfect. All right. And yeah. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you guys soon. We will see you next week.